Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Lazar, and today we're going to be discussing the best Incarnon weapons of week 4 or rotation 4. And this week was difficult because you had a lot of amazing weapons. First thing we're going to do, we're going to take the dual Ikir and put it off to the side, forget about that one for the time being. The 4 remaining range weapons, you have now full and detailed build guides, and as I talk about them, I'm going to link you in the upper right portion of the screen in the cards. So if you want more details and to see exactly how each and every one performs and how they should be built, what works, what doesn't, what are the functionality tricks, you can access those build guides. We're not going to go into too much detail today, I'm just going to give you a brief overview. The Atomos was the most exciting one because the Atomos is a beloved secondary weapon in Warframe. For new players and for veterans alike, it's a beam weapon. In its Incarnon form, it transforms into an AoE projectile launcher. Unfortunately, it was released a little bit bugged. Alongside the cosmetic issues, for example, you had the projectile itself, you can't see it traveling through the air, it's completely invisible, but it looks like it has a bit of travel time, and it does look like it has a bit of drop off, and it makes one big bada boom explosion. The explosion size is 7.9 meters, it's absolutely huge, but the damage drop off is also huge at 80%. Also, the weapon has no reliable way of continuously applying slashes to the target or impact to the target so we can get that slash. While the projectile itself making contact with a target will be applying impact damage and you can leverage that to a certain degree, it's still a single target, it's not gonna be on the big AoE explosion. But that wasn't the issue, because it has plenty of heft to be fantastic. The problem was the talents at evolution 2 are completely busted, none of them actually work. Not the passive part, not the active part. So you see, you're not getting to grips with the full power of the weapon, and the most powerful evolutions are always level 2 and level 4. So I don't want to say that the Atomos was disappointing. The Atomos was bugged, and because of this, it was a tad on the disappointing side. If you haven't chosen your weapons just yet, I would skip the Atomos for now, perhaps until the next rotation pops up with the Atomos, they're going to be able to fix the issues. Again, I'm not saying it's a weak weapon, it would be folly to say it's a weak weapon, it's a great area of effect weapon, and with Prime Fulmination you can reach almost 12 meters worth of range on that explosion, but it's simply bugged at the current time. Next up, we're going to be talking about our first primary, the Mitre. If you're interested in power, if that's what you care about, I just care about the most powerful weapons, which are the most powerful, go for the Mitre. The Mitre this week has been the most powerful weapon. It's absolutely amazing, it can give the Latron a run for its money. They're so evenly matched at certain points, I'm actually gonna do a versus between those two weapons. The Mitre is definitely something that you want, it bounces between targets, creating explosions as it goes. It deals a truck and a half worth of damage. Now, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. You will have to get one headshot with a projectile, and for some players that is asking a bit too much, but if you're not one of those players, you're gonna have a fantastic time on the Mitre. 1 to 2 headshots depending on the multi-shot that you have on the weapon will be in full charge, and then you got 20-21 shots in the Incarnon form. That might not sound like a lot, but it does auto-lock and bounce between targets, so that is absolutely fantastic. Trust in the Incarnon Mitre, it's absolutely sick. Next, what about that dual Toxocyst? The dual Toxocyst is a forgotten weapon in Warframe. It's not a weapon that most players use because it's a pretty bad secondary weapon. Now apparently once upon a time it was used by players on Mesa. Before Mesa had an actual exalted weapon, players would use the dual Toxocyst. I had no idea about that, this was way back when. And it's not exactly relevant, but it is a cool little piece of trivia there. The dual Toxocyst transforms into an absolute godlike weapon. You gotta get headshots though to get yourself that frenzy buff. If you do go for the frenzy buff, you're gonna absolutely annihilate whatever stands before you. You got a huge magazine, huge fire rate, huge damage. It doesn't apply a consistent amount of impact procs. It does apply a decent amount of slash, but it puts so much damage into your target so quickly, you don't really care anymore. And for this one, I would advise a flat damage approach because it is absolutely insane. Now that said, if you can't go for headshots, there is a way around that you can build for gas. Apparently the gas cloud sometimes procs the frenzy buff. You need to keep that frenzy buff active. Now I would recommend you actually do what you're supposed to and aim for headshots, but if you don't want to, you cannot mod for plus accuracy and simply try to get as big of a spread as you can on that multi-shot, which means technically you are painting the screen, you are painting a smaller area, therefore it might be easier for you to get a headshot. For me, I always prefer the plus accuracy. I do enjoy going for headshots. It is rewarding gameplay to me. But if you can't, or you're not particularly good at it, you can try these tricks to go around it. Also, I believe on console you have this aim assist thing that you can enable. It's not gonna be a top 3 secondary weapon because it lacks that AoE capability. It does have the automatic bullet, how do I say this, link to one additional target. Now when you have multi-shot, it will appear like it's linking to more additional targets at the same time, because one of the most important things, it's a hit scan attack, and the link is also instant as well. That is huge for actual gameplay and the overall smooth experience in Warframe. But per bullet, so per damage instance, it's gonna be linking to one additional target. On a personal note, I never saw it linked to a headshot per se, but some users have reported that the link can actually do a headshot, which would trigger that frenzy buff. Honestly, you shouldn't really feel intimidated by the whole headshot thing. Why don't you pick them up and give them a spin? I definitely recommend the secondary weapon. And again, while it may not be one of the top 5 secondary weapons, it's still an amazing weapon to have. Finally, the Torid. The Torid, the second most powerful weapon on the list today, only being topped by the Mitre. My friends, if you're looking for ease of use, if you're looking to delete everything that stands before you with relative ease, you gotta go for this one. The Torid is not only fantastic in its Incarnon form, but it's also fantastic in its base form thanks to the evolutions that make it a whole lot better. So you can actually play it into both, get that AoE gas cloud going, or simply go for something like Viral and Mumu and go for headshots when it comes to the beam weapon. And it's a beam weapon, it's easy to get headshots with this. And if you don't get headshots, if you get body shots, it doesn't matter. The weapon absolutely annihilates whatever stands before it, and it's again very easy to use. Now you do lose a little bit of damage, a significant amount of damage actually, when the beam jumps from target to target. In terms of functionality, think Amprax. Think Amprax, just a little bit cleaner because you don't get all the bzz effects around your target that don't do anything anyway. The Torid was definitely a smart idea. So if you're here just to see, hey, which are the most powerful, it goes Mitre, Torid, Dual Toxocyst, Atomos. I don't care about the rest, which is the dual AKR. That is my official recommendation to you, fantastic people. Again, you have in the cards links to all of these reviews so you can make an informed decision. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing next week as well. So if you got the patience to wait 2-3 days until I'm able to get the full reviews out, you can choose the weapons wisely as well. Now there should be one more thing said. Let's say you pick something and now you regret it. Damn it, I wish I'd picked X or Y or Z weapon. These are on a 6-week rotation, so it shouldn't really be much of an issue. But there are some potential drawbacks as well to choosing the quote-unquote wrong weapon, if there is such a thing. DE might nerf it, and the Riven disposition might go down, so you might not get to enjoy it in its prime, quote-unquote, because we all know what the Fun Police does from time to time. And I do believe that's everything. Oh crap, what now? And I do believe that is pretty much everything I wanted to point out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe only if you enjoy the content. If you got any feedback for me, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. Ciao guys, I'll see you next time.